Happy Monday. Not that I'm excited about Monday. I'm just excited to get up another day and be in my right mind to have the activities of my limbs. It just, you know, gives a whole nother appreciation for life because you know that you didn't have to. Like it could be anything else than what it is. But I like what it is. And so it is a happy Monday. Like your comment, subscribe if you feel it. This station is Bludgeoning Oracle, and I am Leticia. As I laid in bed last night, Spirit began to talk to me, as they always do, about awareness. This time, about awareness, being aware and paying attention to what's happening around you, what's happening for you, within you, specifically about who you're connected with and how that's affecting your abundance. Okay? Abundance is not just about money, that's a part of it. It's also about peace and health and wellness. And your ability to nurture those things within yourself. Watch. They're saying, watch how your abundance changes. Your abundance changes around certain people. Specifically for someone, this may be a time to take note of that. And just notice it. Times when things are really good and things are going right, and you're able to see your peace increasing, your abundance increasing, your well being, your health, your mindset are good, right? And then you look around and you're like, well, I don't know why it's so good because, I'm like in this place like of isolation. Like you could be saying that, this is not my happy place. My happy place would be over there, doing such and such with someone. That would be my happy place. And then you get into a situation where you're there doing such and such with someone, but your peace is no longer solid. You know, things are no longer just happening, and opportunities are not no longer opening for you. As a matter of fact, stuff is shutting down, going wrong. You're starting to miss appointments and opportunities. Right? That is what Spirit's talking about. Be aware. Yeah. You may need to erase certain people when you look around and find out, hey, this person is not necessarily adding, to my abundance. They're actually taking from it. I'm not going to go deep into that, but Spirit was talking about being aware. I don't know why that's coming back up this morning, but let's see. What is the energy of this week, Spirit? And I'm using my abundance deck, okay? Um, I'm also going to be using my numerology deck, and this is my regular Rider Waite deck for the tarot, okay? Let's see what comes out here for this week for us. All these good cards coming out. I feel like Spirit just wants you to recognize where your sweet spot is. For somebody, it may not be where you think it is. It may not be where you want to be. You may be having to choose between your desires and good for you. Divine abundance comes out. Is that what we're talking about? Your path comes out. Mm-hmm. Expansiveness comes out. And limitless comes out. Look at this. All of these cards are talking about um, how you have been called to experience life. Because your path came out, and this is all about you trusting the plan, right? And moving beyond what you can see. You may not even know the fullness of what Spirit has called you to experience. You don't even know, right? Eyes have not seen, ears haven't heard, all the beautiful things waiting for you. You don't even know. But if we're able to move past the fear and the illusion, Spirit is talking about that today. Being aware, not closing our eyes so we don't see certain things when we see it. You know how we do that sometimes. We see something, we're like, oh, Let me not see that so I don't rock the boat, so I don't cause any conflict to disturb this comfortable place where I am. You were shown that for a reason. Don't ignore it because that thing that you were potentially ignore will fester and will grow into something that represents a block. Even though you are pretending like you don't see it, it's still growing and it's still operating in the background, right? This is about your divine abundance, your ability to expand, and the fact that you have an opportunity to enter into an energy with unlimited potential, right? Each of us, the spirit is specifically talking about you, were born to be in alignment with this energy around the wheel of love. And it serves something beyond our ego. Our ego is so small and limited, but it's about us learning to be abundant. And when we step outside of our ego, we learn the possibilities and the opportunities outside of ourselves that are present. And it gives us the opportunity to sit in that abundance, that divine abundance that are. We don't have to chase it. It just comes naturally. So that thing that we would literally be chasing and denying yourself, your being, your abundance for because you want that in your life, if you sit in a place of position, if you sit in that place where you've been called in your alignment with your path, that thing will be attracted to you. You won't have to. And this steps outside of time. We're talking about eternity. We look at expansiveness, eternity that has no restrictions or no bounds, right? Eternity is more than just this box, right? But it's beyond the box. It's beyond the limits, beyond the constraints, beyond that ego that sees it a certain way, right? There's an expansiveness that you're being called into to see the constraints that we've been raised to believe are there that really aren't there. And yes, evil can be taught, it can be passed down, it can be exemplified, right? This is bigger than that, it's bigger than that. And so this is about you being called to see yourself, focus to receive in most miraculous ways, understanding that we are limited. The divine is not. The divine can move together, his desire, not restricted to time, space, or matter, right? The divine can use anything and anyone to fulfill the purpose around their life. And that is understanding that the energy of limitlessness is around you. Spirit is bringing that up right now. Look into our numerology deck. If it comes out, follow your dreams comes out. Spiritual career. I feel like this is a really sounds like a natural tendency. And so this may talk about your natural bent, the natural ebbs and flows of your life that it's safe to surrender to. Maybe there's been all types of reasons that have come up telling you why this is not for you, or why this wouldn't work, or why this is not an acceptable, way to move forward. When we talk about following our dreams, like what is your dream? And what are the reasons that you've given yourself as to why you're not able to follow it, why you're not able to do it, why it's not attainable or reachable, or why it doesn't align with the common theme that's been set up for your life. Spirit is just guiding you to look at things a little bit different, to take off the restriction, that may have been placed there and allow yourself to flow naturally. What comes natural, right? What comes natural? We have been taught under certain, you know, schools of thought, and some of them are very religious, that our natural self is enmity with our spiritual self. And that's not necessarily all true, not necessarily. It depends on how we're looking at it and the context that we're looking at it in. Sometimes our natural self is the most beautiful part of our being because it flows so freely and so purely and so innocently. Um, and I don't believe that our natural self is equal to, when we think of things in terms of animalistic nature or we look at it bestially, I don't think that aligns at all. When we look at our natural stuff, we're looking at what comes naturally, what comes easily, what feels genuine. Like you don't even have to make it work. It just feels right. Or it just flows without you even trying. That's what I'm talking about when I say our natural self. And so many times we're taught like that, like intuition is a natural part of our, you know, divine being, our natural self is part, the intuition is part of that. And yet we've been taught to turn away from our own sense of nature, our own sense of internal instruction to something outside of ourselves, to something else. And instead of checking within to see if it aligns, we're taught to check without, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but we are taught that. And so Spirit is saying, come on back to what naturally flows. Okay, this week may be all about that. Just looking at, how things are unfolding for you right now. When they're not flowing so easily, why is that? What have you accepted as truth, or what are you trying not to see? Who do you have around you, when things are not flowing abundantly? There's something that you're being called to surrender to right now. Maybe the truth, maybe to actually see something for what it is, see someone for what they are. But this is an exchange for you redirecting that back to yourself. Okay? Something about a spiritual path, spiritual career here. So right now you stand in the energy of strength, in the energy of strength, showing your fortitude, your power, your ability to withstand this challenge or this transition that's happening right now. Um, you are maintaining your position, even if it doesn't feel like things are flowing smoothly. You are holding it down. You're holding your own. That doesn't always mean like you're going in the right direction, right? You could potentially be using more energy than necessary to be where you are, right? But where you are right now, you are handling it courageously. You may even have come so far as to subdue the lion in your situation that would normally be threatening or treacherous. There's something about you subduing the lion and making it your friend, or developing a relationship with your situation where you are right now that no longer presents a danger, And so with the strength card, it's like you are standing in this situation boldly, courageously, and just doing what it do, making the best of that situation. And doing a really good job of it too. Right? Yeah. What is the situation? Let's see if we can find out. What is the situation for my viewer? there's something here about having a nurturing, a self-nurturing environment or predicament where you're able to care for yourself, or you should be able to very well. Something about the situation that sets up an opportunity for you to be successful and to care for yourself very well. But that comes across as intimidating for some reason. I don't know why that comes across as intimidating for you. It's like, what? Care for myself. What does that mean? Or how will that fix the issue, right? It's almost like there's two different ways that you can approach this. One would be your strength, your intuition, to follow your natural bent. That would be to care for yourself, to be with that. The other one would be possibly to care for someone else and put someone else before you, or to choose a different path, not choosing your own abundance, right? Whichever one you choose, right? Whether it's through fear or unknowingness, not knowing what will come about if you choose yourself, or choosing that other, whatever choice that is, that other thing, not choosing yourself, right? Both will ensue a response. But there's feels like there's some opportunity to shed a light on why you're going a certain path or choosing a certain path, or why you have responded a certain way, maybe. There's something being highlighted here. Maybe something even in the shadows that has not really fully been allowed to come to the forefront. The Spirit is bringing this up and giving you the choice to choose. Each choice, Spirit is saying, each choice will yield a certain fruit or a certain outcome. And so the idea, the benefit here is being aware of your choice, right? And choosing wisely, understanding not every choice is going to be beneficial. Some might appear to be at the onslaught of things, but it may turn out to be, you know, a waste of time. The Spirit is bringing up your ability to choose wisely, choose carefully, examine what it is that you are choosing, awareness, right? Because you are moving forward. You are this very strong, uh, you know, force to be reckoned with, right? You carry a lot of potential, a lot of, and there's this word that explains power, I think it's execution, something like that. But you carry that. It's a matter of where you will plug in, right? What you will allow to plug into you. That's what this message is about. The fact that you represent a very powerful divine source in yourself. Now, I see in the future, in the near future, you may understand that and draw back on some things, draw back on some relationships, draw back on some investment, and pull that. That may be around noticing something or recognizing that something may not have been reciprocal, or it may just be you needing to pull your energy back, pull your resources back, pull you back. I see that in the future. You being a little selfish. Yeah. And everything is really has been, because I'm speaking past terms now, everything has played its part in bringing you to where you are. And it's almost, considered But this is a moment of destiny, right? As things were orchestrated in the past, this is timely, right? This was something that was designed and planned for you to end up in this moment right now, to hear this truth, to recognize this truth. So I feel like you're going to be seen, or you're being seen as very serious and not playing, wanting to do things right, wanting to be treat people right. It feels like you are really serious about um, your decisions, how you make people not, maybe even wanting to leave people better than how you found them. It's like you don't play. That's how you're being seen, like being really uh, diplomatic. I don't know if that's the right word, but like being really serious about what it is that you believe in and carrying that out. Not just talking, but living it. That doesn't mean that trouble's not going to come and find you. Yeah. That doesn't mean that when you decide to stand your ground and when you decide that what is best for you, people that have been used to you being a certain way won't fight to keep you in that space. The battle has just begun. It won't always be easy, though we would like to think that it should. It won't always be easy. There'll be forces, there'll be people that challenge you, that want to pull you off of your high horse when you find your place of being, when you find your place of divine abundance. Like people are going to want what you have. And this is going to be like a very important spiritual lesson. It's going to be a very important spiritual level up. Um, and you may end up seeking spiritual advice. Um, Along the line, you may find that you are the spiritual advisor. Yeah, this is about awareness and you not closing your eyes and not wanting to see things. See it, address it, recognize it. That's really important. Don't feel like you have to rush into things. Like slow down so that you can see things for what they really are. Slow down. Even take a look at your tendencies, right? You tend to just jump into things that sound and feel good without giving it a lot of thought, without taking into account like past situations, how those turned out. There's something about slowing down to allow yourself to process before moving forward. It's important. Maybe you recognize this already, or maybe subconsciously, this is what is beckoning for you to do. Taking a look at the past and learning from it, stopping to allow yourself to find out what that is that you even just experienced. What was the lesson? There's a lot of awareness coming out right now. Awareness. And I feel like there's someone you're about to step into a space that is beyond your wildest dreams. Right? All your dreams did come out. Um, and there's something about surrendering to the natural tendencies, your natural proclivities, allowing the natural part of your being to flow without restriction. I feel like for someone you've been fighting yourself for no good reason. Maybe it was something that was learned. Maybe there's some belief here. Spirituality did come out a few times. Maybe there's some belief that there's a certain way Spirit is saying, tapping into you, it's tapping into your path, it's tapping into what you've been called to experience. It may not necessarily align with what you've been taught. So there's something about surrendering to your intuition, to what you're feeling, and being free to go with that, go with the flow. So this week may be one that's very intuitive, that you get nudges. It may be something that's just nudging at your intuition all week. Spirit just wants you to pay attention. Something here that needs to be attended to. When things are really good and overflowing and abundant, who do you have around you? Or who is absent? Is the better question. Who's absent in that process? And then when you see things kind of restrict and tighten and constrict, who just step back into the picture? Who is attempting to take over the program of your life, right? That's the question. That's the question. So that's the energy of giving. All about awareness this week. All about awareness. Talking to someone who it has been arranged for you to experience something pretty amazing. You know, divine abundance comes out for you, expansiveness comes out for you, and limitlessness comes out. Like, and then we also have your path. Like, this is ordained for you. It would be a shame to not be able to experience this because of some, I don't know. I don't know what that is that would keep you from it. It could be a person, but it could also be a certain belief as well. Spirituality came out a couple of times here through the Hierophant and spiritual distance as well. There's something here that is challenging because it restricts you in some type of way from following your chi. I'm hearing your chi. That's the natural flow of air. But for following your path, your natural path, that's unrestricted. And so Spirit is calling you to be aware this week of yourself, your decisions, anything that would come in and try to obstruct you from flowing this week. Pay attention to that. That's an indicator of what could be blocking your abundance right now, or where you're headed, okay? Even more importantly. So that's what I'm getting here is be aware this week. So like Spirit is going to show you who or what the culprit is, but you have to be listening to see it. And you have to be bold and courageous enough to see it and to acknowledge it and to not cover your eyes because it's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm not ready for this level of truth and for this level of uh, revelation. You have to gird your loins and prepare yourself to receive this. Okay? Because whoever Spirit shows you, whatever they show you may be just like something that blows your mind. You may not be ready for this, but you are ready though. Frank says you're ready. You think there's some things already. You made it through those. Yeah, yeah. Spirit is saying it's time for another grow up moment, another level up moment. So, yeah, yeah, for whatever you know is right. I want to find out what this is. I know in this, when I pulled the energy to find out what it was, the Queen of Cups came out, which is all about you taking care of yourself or directing the energy back to yourself, making sure that you are balanced, that you're not giving too much, that you're not taking too much, right? The Queen of Cups is really about you mastering yourself in your situation and what's good. Pivoting everything from that point of view, holding yourself as the most important thing, right? But what is this for my viewer? We understand that it is about self care and self love, balance within the self. Anything else you can tell us about this situation? The King of Cups comes out again. This could be about a spiritual business. The King of Cups, I mean, not the King of Cups, the King of Wands is usually an entrepreneurial energy. Someone that goes out and gets what is desired, experiences a lot of self growth around that process as well, and wears it as a badge of honor. Again, staying balanced in this situation, not tying yourself up with energies or situations that are not reciprocal, because again, those types of situations drain you. Right? They drain you of your abundance. So this is something that is reciprocal and something that is balanced. This might even be you putting yourself in a position to relearn, unlearn something, or relearn it. So I get both ends of the spectrum. I get mastery energy, but I also get novice energy, right? Which is a skill in itself. Being able to operate, but also being open to learn, operating your mastery in your craft, but also staying open to continuously learn. So I thought this could be spiritual, absolutely. Sometimes something spiritual that needs that awareness, that protection, the boundary. This is you. You need boundaries around you. You need protection. You need that level of awareness. Pay attention. And it feels very spiritual to me. Very good. It feels like business. That's all I'm hearing, and that's all I'm seeing. And so take that as an event. Like your comments, subscribe if you feel good. If this message is your message and aligning with you right now. This is the message for the week. So let me know how that plays out. Um, you're free to comment if you like. If you like it, you can share it. You can email me. We'll see how this goes. Okay? So like the very beautiful thing wants to come in for us. We have to be able to not only receive them, but we also have to maintain them. Okay? Boundaries, awareness. All right. I'll leave it there. Now I'll go on for hours. Now I'm going long-winded. Like, share, comment, subscribe, let me welcome you.